Hello everybody, my name is Cole Martins and thank you guys for joining me here today. Today we'll be talking about the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series and the final race before the chase for the Sprint Cup at Richmond International Speedway. Very interesting race as we determine who our 16 drivers will be going into the chase, as we already know 13 of them, so 3 more spots up to grab in this one. And for those 3 spots, there will be 19 drivers racing for that spot. And the reason that there's 19 going just for 3 spots, and for those of you that do not know, is that if you get a win in the Sprint Cup Series, you automatically get to go to the NASCAR division of the playoffs. So if you are in the top 30 and you get to have a win, you get a chance in the advance automatically. So right now, for all those 3 drivers, the 3 that are in right now, they all had a chance to clinch by finishing in a certain spot. For Chase Elliott, who was running in 14th place, he had to finish 39th or better to clinch his spot. For Austin Dillon in 15th, he had to finish 30th or better to clinch his spot. And for Jamie McMurray, he had to finish 21st or better to clinch his spot. Then the guy running in 17th, Ryan Newman, was 22 points back of Jamie McMurray coming into that race. He had to make sure he finished 22 spots ahead of Jamie McMurray to either advance or lead a lap and be only 21 spots ahead. But he'd have to have something go wrong pretty much with McMurray to have a chance to advance into the next round or get a win at Richmond. So let's talk about the race here a little bit. Coming in, a lot of cautions in this one, as they actually set the record for cautions in this race with 16 cautions at Richmond. Out of those cautions, a lot of big name drivers were involved in crashes, including Chase Elliott. He was the first one to get involved in the crash, as his teammate in this one, driving the 88 car for Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, pushed him into the wall, causing him to hit the wall and get some pretty good damage. But he was able to come back and clinch his spot into the chase with a great run, at least a better run coming back from that crash. Other drivers getting into crashes in the race, I believe we had Jimmy Johnson going into the wall in that race as well. He had some issues at Richmond. And again, another driver who was able to come back and finish pretty well though in that race. Other drivers Carl Edwards got into a couple of crashes. He wiped out by himself at one point. Was able to try to come back and try to get back up the pack, as his teammate as well got into a crash, Matt Kenseth, as he wasn't as fortunate, as when he hit the wall, he got some pretty bad damage with under 100 laps to go, and knocked him out of the race and caused him to finish in the 38th position. But again, he had a spot clenched for the chase because of the win. And then our final big crash involved quite a few of our chase drivers on lap 363 at Richmond, as Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards, a big one here for Ryan Newman, who was involved in that crash, and Stewart's one who even caused the crash, as those two had a big argument at one point after the crash happened. So we'll see how that goes into the chase. As you don't remember, I believe that was last year, I want to say, where Matt Kenseth and Joey Logano had their little incident at Martinsville where Kenseth took Logano out. So maybe we'll see the same thing of Newman and Stewart. Hopefully not, because it's Stewart's final year in Sprint Cup action, so we don't want to see anything like that happen. But it could be an interesting thing to watch here going into the chase. As long as people in that crash were Chris Buescher, who, again, another driver who was trying to clutch a spot in the chase. He did have a win earlier this year, but he's just barely in that top 30, as he had to finish, I believe it was 11 spots, at least 11 spots ahead of David Reagan, who was in that 31st position. And getting involved in this crash was a huge thing for him. But he was also able to bounce back pretty good after that crash. And in this race, Denny Hamlin started on the pole, and it was pretty much a 2-driver show through this whole thing, as Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. raced it out pretty much for the lead the whole time. But Hamlin's car was just strong for all 400 laps in this race, and Denny Hamlin was able to pick up the win, and his 3rd win of the year, and get some more bonus points, as now he'll head into the chase. And the results here for all your chase drivers in this race: Denny Hamlin would finish in 1st place, Kyle Larson in 2nd, Martin Truex Jr. in 3rd, Brad Keselowski in 4th, Kevin Harvick 5th. Jamie McMurray finished in 7th, so he clinched his spot, finishing above the top above 21st. Kurt Busch finished 8th, Kyle Busch 9th, Joey Logano 10th, Jimmy Johnson came back from his crash and finished 12th. Austin Dillon finishing 13th, clinching his spot, finishing above 30th in the chase. Chase Elliott finishing 19th, so clinching his spot in the chase by finishing above 39th. Chris Buescher finishing 23rd, so he was able to clinch his spot in the chase as well, finishing 11 spots, or at least 11 spots ahead of David Reagan. Carl Edwards would end up finishing 32nd after that big crash, along with Tony Stewart, who was involved in that crash, who finished 33rd, and Matt Kenseth, who got knocked out of the race earlier, will finish in 38th. So your chase standings coming into the first race coming up this Sunday, we have Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski who will share the points lead to start off, because they had 4 wins on the year, and for each win you get this season, you get 3 bonus points heading into the chase. So each of them will start off with 2,012 points. Then the guys who have 9 bonus points with their 3 wins are Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, Martin Truex Jr., Matt Kenseth, and Jimmy Johnson. As for each one of these guys as well, this is Kyle Busch's 9th entry in the chase, Brad Keselowski's 5th entry into the chase, Denny Hamlin's 10th entry, Kevin Harvick's 10th entry, Carl Edwards' 9th entry in the chase, Truex's 4th chance in the chase, Matt Kenseth's 12th chance in the chase, and Jimmy Johnson's 13th chance. And Jimmy Johnson is the only driver of all these drivers ever be in the chase to be in every single chase since it has began back in 2004. Now we'll go to our 2 race winners this year. Excuse me, that was our 2 race winners. Denny Hamlin was a 3 race winner, excuse me. Then Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, Martin Truex Jr., Matt Kenseth, and Jimmy Johnson are all 2 race winners. So then we go to our 1 race winners now this year, who will get only 3 bonus points heading into the chase are Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Tony Stewart, Kurt Busch, and Chris Buescher. So they'll start with 203 again. And the people who qualified on points will just start off with 2,000, and that will be Chase Elliott, Austin Dillon, and Jamie McMurray. So if you don't know the chase format as well, I'll explain that for you guys. There will be 10 races in the chase. It's an elimination bracket pretty much. After every 3 races, 4 drivers will be eliminated. So after the first 3 races, we'll be down to 12. After the next 3 races, we'll be down to 8. And after the next 3 races, we'll be down to 4. And then they'll go to Homestead, Miami to figure out of those 4 drivers, whoever finishes the best in that race will become your 2016 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion. So far in the last 3 years, this will be the 3rd year they've done it, if I'm correct. So far in the last 2 years, it's been very, very interesting. It's changed everything you think. It keeps it a lot more interesting than it was in the past, where some points leaders just pulled away and you knew who was going to win the championship with about 6 or 7 races to go. So I do like this. It's kind of like an actual NFL, NHL kind of thing, where it's pretty much you have to perform your best when you're it's a good word you put this. You gotta shine when you have the chance, or you just fall apart and you miss your shot to win a championship. So we'll talk about next week's race now. Is this Sunday they'll be heading to Chicagoland Speedway for probably my most favorite name, if you can name a event. As a sponsor for this race is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 400. I mean, how can you not love that name? Who doesn't love the Ninja Turtles? And that race again will be coming up Sunday at 2:30. And last winner at this track last year, Denny Hamlin was your winner. So trying to go back to back here. And another thing I forgot to mention about the chase as well: if you do win a race in that certain 3 races, you automatically advance to the next round. So winning a race in each round is a huge thing, so they make sure that you want to do that. Drivers who have also won at this track besides Denny Hamlin: Kyle Busch won here in 2008, Tony Stewart won here in 2011, Matt Kenseth in 2013, Brad Keselowski in 2014, and Kevin Harvick in 2002. So 6 drivers have had a total 1 at this race out of the 16 that are in the chase right now. So a very interesting thing going in to see if maybe one of these guys can pick up a big win and move on to the next round. Now for my pick to who I think is going to win the chase this year, there's a lot of good drivers in this and a lot of good choices. But if I had to pick someone, it would probably be between the Joe Gibbs team and Penske, as both those teams have been very, very strong so far this year. Hendrick seemed like they've had a slow year this year, so I'm going to count them out of this one. If I had to pick anybody out of those 2 teams, it's going to have to be Denny Hamlin. He was your Daytona 500 winner at the beginning of this year. He won last week at Richmond. He's got a good track he's going to race at this week at Chicagoland that he likes to race at in the winter last year. I feel like he's very strong at a lot of these tracks, and I'm going to pick Denny Hamlin to pick up his first ever NASCAR Sprint Cup championship this year. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you like the video, please press the like button. I would really appreciate that. Also, if you have not subscribed to me yet, I would appreciate if you guys subscribe. That'd mean a lot to me. Also, if you want to talk about any of the races or anything I talked about here today in the NASCAR, I'd love to talk to you guys about that. Just leave a comment right below, and I'll try to keep up with that and see what you guys are thinking. Also, if you want to talk to me on Twitter, you can follow me at ColeMartins57. Usually during the races, I'll be tweeting, talking what I think about what's going on and everything. So if you want to keep in contact with me with all that, you can do that as well. And I believe that is everything. So if you like, give me a like. I'd appreciate it. Give me a subscribe to me. I appreciate that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll probably have another one coming up next week from Chicagoland. So thank you guys for watching, and y'all have a great day.